I removed the leaf filters from the gutter when I painted the roof. There's no gutter on the upper portion, and this is the coarse leaf filter made for metal roof. So when I sanded and scraped all this, and I didn't want to get into my screen, so I went ahead and removed the leaf filters, and I'm just laying them out there getting ready to put them back on. Bought this little piece of foam from Home Depot and wedged it in there just to keep the debris out of my downspout. Or I think it worked pretty good. I'm getting ready to take it out and reinstall them. But let's go down and take a closer look at them. Okay, I have both sizes of the screen. I have asphalt shingles and I have metal roof. Big difference. This here's a lot coarser, which you need that because the water runs off so fast on the metal roof. There's the plastic grid on the bottom. And every now and then one of them kind of gets twisted or damaged. Now I may have done that removing it. That's not a big deal. There's their name. Leaf Filter US, patented product, made in USA. I didn't realize it was patented. I numbered them, starting there with the downspout. I numbered them L1 for left one, which means I'll just start on the left side. They only go one way. And then 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now I think I got one short piece right there. He's the very last one, I believe. You can see how that's got a twist in it. Again, that's... Can you see that twist? I'm not sure why that is. But for one thing, where it fits around the roof, where it fits between the gutter, the top of the gutter, and then it's got to kind of snap under the roof, under the metal roof itself. They might have to do some finagling there to get it to bend and conform. But you can see how the stainless steel is holding up. These are 5 years old and a few months. These were put in June of 2015. It is now October. And here's a good look at the sealant product he used. As I said, that's a GSL product. GSL is a very good name brand. I don't see that coming apart at all. Not even starting to come apart. It's pretty tough stuff. I'm not bragging on them. I'm not a salesman for them. I'm not promoting it. I paid a lot of money for these. I'm giving you my experience. This barn is set up here is about 38 feet from here to there. And I have them here on this side of the barn. None on the upper floor, the upper deck. We got another 38-foot run here with the coarse leaf filter. This section of roof here is a hybrid. This is a metal roof. Short run of asphalt. Then we have a metal roof. So we have the coarse screening here on this run. So we got 70 feet on this side, and the full length here is right at 70 feet. My price was right at $6,900. I'm going to tell you a little story about the sales tactic used. It was a young man to come out here, but some of the tactics they used, that young man definitely received some sales training from Leaf Filter, or some training from somebody, somewhere. We'll talk about that. Okay, I've just got this set up on my welding table. We was at the home show in Louisville, Kentucky in March of 2015. We just bought this place, and they had a really neat little demonstration up there with water pouring over the filter, and then you can see the bottom side of it and watch the water pour down. He said, "Would you like to talk about it?" Yeah, I said, I don't know whether they're $1,000 or $10,000. That was my figures. Well, he said, "You'd be surprised." He said, let me take your name and number and address, and we'll have somebody give you a call. So yeah, I mean, I like to find out how much they are, whether I can buy them and put them on, or whether you install them, whatever. Yeah, he said, we'd love to send a guy out and talk to you, or we'll give you all we can on the phone. And so I went ahead and filled out my name, phone number, address, and all that stuff. Maybe a week or two goes by, we get a call. Not much information on the phone. He said, "This is a sit down." He said, you're going to love it. Well, I saw the product. Had some really nice brochures. Yeah, I like for you to come out, I like to talk to you. I can always say no, if it's too much money. Not very much time goes by, we set up a date. Within the next day or 2 or 3, young man comes out, brand new white Ram pickup truck, 1500. And we come in, we give him a glass of tea, we sit on the back porch, and we start talking. And he's got a 3-ring binder, about 2 inches thick, starts pulling out testimonies and all this stuff. I said, I really just kind of want to get an idea of how much money we're talking about, because I don't have any idea. He said, "You care if I take some measurements?" So he took some measurements. Yeah, take your time. So he took the measurements and he come back. We sat down He had a rolling wheel tape measure. He said, well, he said, I'm going to be right up front with you folks. He said, before we come out to a house, he said, we bring it up on Google Earth and we look around it. And we can tell you're the kind of folks that take pride in your property. We've only been here a few months. We're kind of just getting started. Well, just you expressing interest in leaf filter alone, that tells us right there that you are particular. I mean, he really blows you up. You are particular folks. My wife and I are sitting there in the back of my brain. It's already, I got flags going up. Wow. He's a young guy, but he's had some training. That's interesting. Interesting on where it's going to go from there. He said, well, it's not uncommon for us to do in the cities. People will spend $14,000 to $15,000 and up to keep leaves out of their system. And that floored me. I said, oh, people are paying $14,000, $15,000 for your product? Are they big houses? Well, some of them are. Some of them are $500,000 homes and up, and some are less. He said, but he says, with your measurements on your barn, I didn't know about the coarse screening for the metal roof because of the faster water runoff, which makes perfect sense. He said, we're going to use a coarse screening on that. Now, your other roof, you've got a hybrid. You got some asphalt and you got some metal. And I said, well, it's a lot more metal than asphalt. The asphalt only runs about 3 feet and the rest is metal. I said, but it's a shallow pitch. He thought it best to go with the coarse screen there, but that's neither here nor there because they're roughly the same money. So that's no big deal. I just wanted to go with the right product, not too fine. I wanted water to flow and not overrun. So we decided to go with that. He took a few notes and he came up with today's price would be, oh God, it was something like $13,999. And I about fell out of the chair again. I said, $14,000? I said, you got to be kidding. My wife's quiet all this time. So I said, $14,000? I said, you know how many brand new gutter systems I can put on? I could probably have new gutters put on for $1,000 to $1,500 every so many years. Well, that doesn't keep, he said, that doesn't keep the leaves out of your downspouts and plugging them up. I said, no, but there's some simple filters that'll do that. They got some pieces of foam now. Oh, that don't work. The foam gets plugged up. It overruns. He said, these do not get plugged up. These are the best going, on and on. And I said, well, there's just absolutely no way. So he goes out. He said, let me call my boss. He leaves us, goes out to his truck, walks down halfway down our blacktop driveway, which is about 100 yards from here to the highway. So he walks down the driveway and calls his boss and comes back and said, folks, it's your lucky day. He said, we can do it right now. Sign right now for $10,000 and get these put on before the week's out. And I said, that's just, there's absolutely no way. Just not going to do it. And I had just went through a hip replacement. My wife had deep concern about me getting on a ladder and falling off. And my hip replacement had nothing to do with a fall or the result of a fall. But she didn't want me on the ladder. I know, $10,000, there's no way. Well, let me make another call. So he goes, makes another call and comes back. And he said, folks, my boss says we can do it right now at a special price, but here's the deal. You're right by the highway. This is an awesome piece of property. I mean, he really blew a lot of smoke at that point. He said, the boss says you can have it for $69.99 if you are willing and sign a contract to allow us to put a sign up out by this state highway for 60 days. Now, normally we do it for 30, but because of this ultra low price of $69.99, the boss wants to put up a sign advertising our business leaf filter for 60 days. That's why I don't care about the sign or anything like that. And my wife said yes. And I had a hard time getting my breath after that. From everything I heard, I would not have bid on the $7,000. My wife said yes on that. So we compromised and we got them. You know how that goes. Still too much money? Way too damn much money. If you're able to get on a ladder and do anything yourself, you can save thousands by doing anything you can to keep leaves out of the gutter. There's a lot of little filters you can put on and plastic filters and even screens. It's just way too much money. And from what I've understood, from what I have read and checking all the forms and stuff, if I and my wife would have just held firm, I was ready to hold firm. My wife was not. If we could have, I keep blaming her, but that's the way the story went. She was concerned about me getting on a ladder. If we would have held out, we could have got them, I don't want to say, we could have got them cheaper, but we could have got them reasonable. I want to say I'm not for or against. I'm glad I got them. If I had to do it over, I would not give $7,000 for these. There's no way. I would have done something myself for a lot less. The man that come out and installed them, he actually assembles these on the bed of a pickup truck. These are in, the white strips are in certain lengths, and the screen is cut and bent over the sides. Beads of GSL are run when he assembles it, and within a matter of minutes, it's ready to go on. And they are screwed down in a lot of places. There's no way wind or anything's going to blow them off. I'll continue to do reviews on these, and we'll take a look at the fine screen on an asphalt shingle, which is going to be a much more common leaf filter than these on the barn. I'll go out and show you the tree line. I think I've done this before. It's exactly 30 yards from the back of the house. Right from where this gutter is, that tree line is probably running 27 yards from the leaves. Now, my biggest problem here are not leaves as much as it is the maple seedlings. The whirligig, some people call them, the helicopter seedlings, that kind of thing. When the wind's right and the condition is right in a certain time of year, we get bombarded. A few times a year, this driveway is covered with maple seedlings, some kind of seedlings. I don't know whether they're maple, tulip poplar, whatever they are. Okay, remember when I told you the salesman wanted to put a sign up out here for 60 days and us sign a contract for it? Well, after we agreed for the purchase price, we did sign a contract of some kind for that sign to be put out there, but we never saw him again. Never got a phone call from him. Did not get one single follow-up call on whether we liked the product or liked the install or anything. That's kind of a bad photo. It shows them all laying out there like I'm getting ready to throw them away. I paid a lot of money for them. They're going to carefully go back on. They do a job. But as somebody said on my 3-year review in the comment section, one commenter posted down there, and I thought a lot about what he said. It's a very simple statement. He said, it's amazing how well leaf filter works where they're not needed. And went on to make a comment where I live and the way the tree lines are from the house and everything. He said, basically, you don't need them. I agree with the man. The more I thought about it, he's right. They do work well, but they're not that needed around here. Now here in a minute, we'll go take a look at the fine screen one on the asphalt. We just flip them over here. Not bad buildup for 5 years old, over 5 years old. They could easily be taken off and scrubbed out, but they don't really need it. And my concern was some kind of growth growing on the stainless. I'm not getting that. That paint, that's my fault. That's just some runoff where I painted too late in the evening. And when the dew come on it, my paint ran off, so that's no big deal. But, you know, they're out in all the weather. They're staying shiny and everything. On the plus side, all of them hit sun at some point of the day. I don't have any in the shade. If you had some in the shade or on the north side for a long time where the sun never hits it, sun will kill moss and mildew buildup on this kind of stuff. I'm just going to scrape it out of my way. I'm not going to show you all this. I just want to give you an idea how they go back. You see, it just snaps in. I'm going to line up the original marks too. And half of them were stripped out. I kind of figured that'd be the case. But you get the idea. Looking for number 2 here, boss. You can see there, the seam. Nothing's going to get in here. Absolutely nothing. So that's pretty good. Summer strip. Now this is the longest run on the house. That's a fairly long run. Now you can get an idea of just how fine that screen is. It's so fine I can't hardly even see the holes in it. It's a fine mesh. It's a stainless steel mesh also. There it is catching some of the debris. This roof is going on maybe 10 or 12 years old. Got a little raised place there. Now somebody in the comment section said where you get in trouble with leaf filter is that water will overrun this, I think he's talking about, and get back up under the house and do damage. But it looks like with that lip back here, we'll take this one off. It looks like that would prevent water. But right there, there's the top of the lip, right where my finger is. So if it sags any at all, like right there, it's a pretty good sag right there. It's possible that water, maybe with snow and ice, if this was to freeze over, maybe water could pool up on it if it was to freeze and then come a rain. I don't know. We'll go ahead and remove this one and take a close look at it down on the ground. I'm guessing that was in there before he put them on. I don't know, because I don't see how any of that stuff got down through here. Look at this. See, there's no way. If this is a solid strip of metal right here, and there's no way water can get to the wood, whatever this piece here is called, that's saving that. And if it rolled up on top and backed up, which I can't see that happening, that runs about an inch. Well, it runs more than that. It runs way up there the length. There's the end of it where my finger is. So it's solid metal right to here. So for what that's worth, let's take it down, take a look at it. I think I originally said I'd go ahead and take off 2 or 3 of these. I think I'm just going to take off this one because one is as good as any of the others. This was just picked at random. It's kind of in the middle of this gutter run right here. So I think it's pretty representative of the rest of it. 5 years and 3 months, 4 months, something like that. Now this is the piece where one of the commenters said that if water can get up here above that, it can do damage to the wood backing behind this. This is one solid piece of metal right here. There's no opening here. Now above here, like I pointed out, I can run my finger, that is solid metal, on up to about here, right to about my knuckle. So water, and you can kind of see that shingle wanting to bend over that. It's kind of where that metal is. So I don't see anything getting up in there, any water anyway. Now how these behave if they get ice and snow on them, everything would just start backing up onto the shingles. But let's go down and take a closer look at the leaf filter itself and kind of see in general how well it's holding up. Okay, we'll just try to get a good look here. It's going to be very hard for this camera, I think, to pick up and show to you just how fine that mesh is. It's very fine. Of course, this is just plastic. It looks like it's got some ridges under it that support the screen. The screen's getting some bubble right in here. The Geocel sealant adhesive, the product they use here, seems to be holding up pretty good. I see one little place there where it's delaminated though. Look right here. I think that's what that is. It looks like it anyway. Yeah, it looks like it's delaminated there just a little bit, and some grit actually got washed under it from a hard rain. Let's look at the ends. You might be able to get an idea how fine that screen is. extremely, it's a good thing it's stainless steel. If it wasn't stainless steel, this thing wouldn't have lasted 2 years. But it is stainless. And it looks like the screen part's holding up real well. Of course, there's the same thing. So this is identical to what we looked at on the barn. It's just a fine mesh. And then it's got this lip on it, which is pretty nice. It snaps up underneath the roof on the house. And it gives you a little bit more protection if water does start to build up here. It's got to get this high. And then I showed you how the house was built. I should never have water damage up above here. Now this is interesting. That there's some kind of gap right here. I'm not making it worse by pushing on it, but that's open. So that might explain getting some really fine debris in the gutter. This was not put over brand new gutters. This was put over existing gutters, existing roof. So it's safe to say the gutters were not spotless. I did not clean the gutters out before he put them on. I just make sure the downspouts was clear and good to go. But that is definitely delamination right here. You can see the gap, and I can see some really fine, the stone that has washed off the gutter. So if this one representative piece has got it, I'm sure some others has got it. Now that one there is getting kind of wide right there. There's a fine hole there. That might be, yeah, fine hole there. And here. To me, this won't be too big a deal, but at some point in the future, I'll have to come along here and reseal these to fill the gap in, because this is the roof side and the material is running down and it's washing into these delamination parts. That's the first I've noticed this. I didn't notice that on my 3-year review. But like I say, I'll have to go along there and patch it up. I would say most of this is from the heating and cooling. It's there all through the heat in the summer and the freezing, all winter, the sleet, snow, and rain. That's a pretty good delaminated strip right there. It makes me want to move the ladder and check out another one. So let's go ahead and pick out another one at random and check it out. Okay, before we go check out another one, I want to show you here something. See how it's made here. It's got these channels that run the length of the whole strip. They're kind of stair-stepped. And what they do is just keep the screen from laying flat onto the floor plate, whatever you want to call it here. It keeps an airspace there, maybe so the screens will dry out. Otherwise they'd be laying maybe where it's wet and create mold or something. We'll look at the other end. If anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. I'll get to everything. It might take me a week, but I will get to them. Okay, let's go up and pick out another one and see if we've got any undoing or delamination of the sealant and adhesive on the outside edge there. I wasn't going to show you putting this on, but some of you might have an interest in it. It's very easy, but on the ends you do have to make sure your screen butts down, because they're not glued down. Only on the very end caps of the gutter. So when you see that or not, they just kind of go underneath the slip and snap. Now this slip, of course, was already there. You can see how that screen bubbled up there. So we'll just make sure. And I guess spring tension is supposed to close the gap on these two, at least enough to keep a lot of major debris out. This one here is the same way. You can tell where the original location is on the screw. Okay, there's where we were. We took this one here off. I think it was this one. Okay, we're down on the left side now, down to the black spot. And just getting up here, I see we're just starting to delaminate a little bit right here. There's a spot there, another spot there. And I don't know how they're configured under there. The screen might be sandwiched tight enough between the two pieces of plastic where there's no way it's just going to pull out, because they still have plenty of good adhesive on both sides of those small delamination places. This side was the worst on the other one. And I can feel one right here. Okay, right here's one. As far as delamination, all in all, I don't think it's bad at all. And like I say, they're 5 years old. I don't know what the lifespan of these are going to be. It should be really high for the money they cost. But this is going to conclude my 5-year plus review of leaf filter. If anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. And I appreciate you taking your time watching. And everyone, have a good one and stay safe out there.